In today's exciting action figure review, I'll be taking a look at the Tron Legacy Deluxe Clu figure. Now this figure looks to be around 7 or 8 inches, but once I get it outside of its packaging, I'll go ahead and measure it and let you know how tall it is, and also do some size comparison with some other well-known action figures. But anyhow, I wasn't planning to get this, but I saw it on the pegs at Walmart, and it looked really cool, so I decided to pick it up. I don't think at this point that I'll be collecting too many more of them, but this one looks pretty cool. I like the design. I like the fact that it actually has a katana. So here is a look at the little character picture here of Clu from the movie. And you can see the packaging itself is rather large, at least the card back is. You can see that this whole section here is just devoted to the Tron Legacy logo, and then you can see it's made by Disney. So this is actually my first Disney toy review. So there you go. And you can see on the corner of the box, powered by impulse projection. On the back, it shows you what you get with this figure. You get the identity disc, the katana, and the instruction guide. It has a description of the Clu character, and we can read off because it's very brief. It says, Clu, the current dictator and ruler of the Tron world. Clu rules the Tron system like a police state. His sole purpose is to create a perfect system by exterminating all imperfections. So here is a look at the figures in this Series 1 line. You've got Sam Flynn, of course you got Clu, Rinsler, and the Blackguard. And here is a look at the Deluxe Clu figure. It does stand 7 3/4 inches tall. And overall the quality is good. There are some blemishes. For example here on the forehead, which is a bad place to have a blemish. And along these paint lines I've noticed that there's some places where the paint is darker, indicating that there was extra paint added, or there's places where there's paint missing. But nothing too alarming, something you kind of expect in an action figure, but really at this scale it really should be better, I think. It's not too surprising that they have these issues, but still it would have been nicer if they would have just took a little extra time to correct those issues. One of the other things I noticed is here is the battery cover. And if you look at it from this angle here, you can see it doesn't quite sit flush against the rest of the figure. Not a big deal since it's on the back, but I did notice that. Now, as far as articulation goes, there is no articulation at the neck, no articulation in the ab section, and no articulation at the waist area, due to the fact that there is a gimmick built into this figure. So, the articulation that the figure does have, it does have rotation at the shoulders. Arm can go out like that. There is a swivel at the upper arm, the bend at the elbow, but there is no swivel joint allowing it to swivel around. There is a swivel joint at the wrist, however. At the legs, as far as how far the leg can go forward and backward, there's not really any motion that I can tell. There's, you can wiggle it back and forth like that. It can kind of go out if you force it a little bit, but really there's not a whole lot of posability that I can tell. There is a swivel joint at the thigh area, a bend at the knee, and the nice thing about this joint is actually it's hidden if it's not bent, so which is nice. And of course you got a swivel and a hinge joint at the ankle. Now as far as accessories go, he does come with the identity disc, which plugs in nicely on the back here. It actually stays on there very securely. And my experimentation with this is you can get it into the hand, but if you kind of move it around a little bit, it tends to fall out, which is not a big issue if you're posing this and you're just going to have it standing on your shelf, so that's a very small issue. I don't know if these hands are the same hands that are found on the Deluxe Sam Flynn figure. I watched a review of that, and as I recall, the disc seemed to stay in pretty well. Anyhow, I digress. Now, what I really like about this figure, it has the katana, and not only do I like it because I like swords or bladed weapons with my figures, but it also reminds me of a beam saber, and particularly It reminds me of a beam saber from like the Maserau or Mr. Bushido's Ahead. So that's a bonus in my book. It does fit very nicely in the hand and looks pretty cool, as you can see. Now, as far as the gimmicks, they have a switch back here. Right now it's on the play mode, I guess you call it. All the way down is on the try me mode, or I think that's the way it's set up. Yeah, either it's try me or play mode. And I think right now, let's see, what I got it on now, looks like it's on the play mode. Basically, when it's on the play mode, it'll light up the chest first, and you can see there. Let me go ahead and turn off some of these lights. I think I'm getting too much light. Perhaps, there we go, that may be better. Let's try that again. So it lights up, as you can see, in this section here. This is all translucent orange plastic. And then you hit the button again.
Oh, you like bikes?
And I like how it flickers. That was Flynn Lives.
Greetings programs!
Greetings programs.
Bugbear is our destiny.
Now that one's hard to understand, even if I'm listening in person. It says, "Out there is our destiny." There's Flynn Lives. So yeah, it goes through these various programs. The other one that has is the line that says, "You'll get the reward you deserve." And there's another one that says, "So, you like bikes?"
You'll get the reward you deserve. So, you like bikes?
So there, you've heard, I believe, all the phrases. But just the way that the face lights up and the way it flickers is really cool. It's just, that's the feature that really drew me to this figure. Now it does have the try me mode, and inside in the packaging you can reach through and toggle this on, and it actually does this light and sounds. So if you put it back onto the try me mode, what it does is it actually lights up the chest and the face and the sounds all happen at the same time, whereas in the play mode you just get the lights on the chest when you press it once, and then you press it again to get the phrase. So it's a nice gimmick. That's the reason I got it, was because of the holographic image that kind of is simulated in the head area there. So, as promised, I'm going to go ahead and show you some size comparisons with other figures, like for example Marvel Legends and Sigma 6, so you can get an idea of how, well, and what scale this guy is at. So here are 4 villains you would not want to meet in a dark alley. Starting from the left is Marvel Legends Deadpool. Next to him is Marvel Legends Mr. Sinister. And of course these both are from Toy Biz. And of course next we have the Deluxe Clu figure, and on the far right is the Sigma 6 Storm Shadow. So you can see that I would say that the Deluxe Clu figure fits best with the Sigma 6 figures, because even though Mr. Sinister is quite tall for a Marvel Legends figure, he doesn't quite seem to be in scale, and of course Deadpool is really not in scale compared to the Deluxe Clu figure. So I know the review spot was mentioning about how he was concerned that these Tron Deluxe figures are quite tall and they might not fit so well with some of his collection. Well, if you have Sigma 6, I think they would fit in pretty well. And not quite as much with the Marvel Legends figures. You might be able to pose them next to maybe some DC Universe Classics. I don't know, I don't have too many of those on hand. But I would say the best scale that it fits with would be the Sigma 6 characters or figures, which is probably what I'll be posing this figure with, because I don't think I'm going to get too many more of these deluxe figures because they are quite expensive at about $15 a pop. So can I recommend you going out and buying this figure? Well, it's kind of expensive. It's around $15 or $16 retail. I would wait until Christmas time when they're probably going to mark it down at least $5. So I would wait until then to actually pick it up if you like it. For me, the main draw of the figure was the light up face with the video effect, with the flickering effect of the face, the video face. It was a really kind of a cool gimmick. Plus, it has the phrases. Some of the phrases you really couldn't hear even in person, which is kind of a minus. So there is that issue there. The quality of the figure, I would give maybe a 7 out of 10. Like I mentioned, there were some blemishes, some paint issues. Nothing too extraordinary, but I would have hoped for that price point that they would have took the extra time to make a quality, or a better, I should say, a better quality figure than this is. Not that it's really bad, but in terms of paint quality, it could be improved. Paint quality slash quality control, I guess I'd say. Of course, I do like the fact that you can store the identity disc on the back of the figure. Of course, I'm always partial to figures that have bladed weapons, and in this case, this weapon reminds me a lot of the Mr. Bushido the Head beam saber, or the Maserao. So anyways, there is always that appeal to me as well. So again, final thoughts. Wait until Christmas. They're probably going to mark it down to $10. Pick it up then. Like I said before, I'm probably not going to get any more of these figures, not because of the price, but because I'm just not really interested too much in the collecting the Tron figures. I have to admit I'm an impulsive buyer, so if I see something on the shelf that I like that catches my eye, I'll usually pick it up, and that's what happened with this figure here. So just so you know my mindset when I bought this figure. Again, it's a nice figure, but I would wait until it's on sale during Christmas time. Alright, well thanks for watching. This has been another action figure review from me, like it's 1985.